How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday afternoon. It's 12 o'clock here in Toronto. Just turned 12:01 right now. I was just setting the temperature and making sure the house is warm and stuff. It's super cold outside here in Toronto. Wearing a swag Aquarium Direct shirt. If you guys like this shirt and like my videos, like our fish room, give this video a thumbs up. And also remember to check out Fish Easy. This is his fish room right here. So these are his tanks. So most of these, there's I think one tank that's here that's mine, but the rest are all of his tanks. And so we're gonna be doing an unboxing of this gigantic, ginormous box that we just received from Aquarium Direct. They actually wrote their name on the top, which is nice. So we bought a whole bunch of stuff today, and I'm actually home today. Good thing I was, because this box required signature, and if I wasn't home it would have been sent back to the post office, and I would have had to wait till Saturday when I have a day off and trek around the city to figure out where the post office is, because I'm new in this area, and go pick this up. And I would bet you the post office is not anywhere like accessible like it is downtown Toronto, because we are in Bangladesh, which is the brown town, not downtown. It's literally, I'm not even joking. But yeah, we got a huge box of stuff from Aquarium Direct. I picked out my address so you can see it. It's right there, something nice. And once we open this and see what's inside, we'll also go around the room and look at some of the fish. I cannot feed any of the fish today because we are medicating them just as a preventive measure. The whole house got medicated, just because, there was signs of worms in a couple of the fish, and I just didn't want to take a chance, medicate everybody at the same time. It's also winter time now. We just moved a few months ago into this facility, so it is, I would say, a good idea to medicate everything. So we did, and I personally feed everybody down here, so, and I like doing that, and I can't because they're all under medication. So you might see do not feed on a lot of the things. Written out because I like to feed the fish. Okay, so we are gonna open this ginormous box. It's quite heavy actually. There's a lot of stuff in here. Some of this stuff needs to be frozen. And none of these things are paid advertisements. I paid full price for everything that's in here. Quick look at what's in the box. Lots of stuff. Where do we start? And if you like this content, give this video a thumbs up. And also comment below and let me know if you're watching this on the replay, so I know that you're watching it on the replay. So no order or anything. First things first, there's a packet of encapsulated brine shrimp. This is good stuff. This is what I feed to these baby angels. Until they're about a little bit larger than this, when they can start eating Dr. Bacillier, medium, then I switch from this to Dr. Bacillier. There's something I've noticed, which I'm going to actually give you guys a little secret. When you are switching food, it has to be done at the right time. So I'll show you guys the fish real quickly, not to get sidetracked too much from what we're doing, but I think it's important. So all right, what's going on, Leo? Okay, so you see how much baby angels are here, right? Quite a bit. Let's move around and look at them properly. All right, I know. There we go. Now this tank gets a daily water change of about 90% of the water out, and aged tap water goes into this. The rest of, I think, about 50%, and I fill from another tank to about 50%, just to not allow 100% new water, so but they do get daily water change, and there are no deaths in here, nothing like that. You see all the, I haven't cleaned it or anything. I just got down here. I'm still in my pajamas. I don't know if you can see that, but see, still in my pajamas. I just woke up not too long ago. I have a day off today, so and when you feed these at this size, they can still eat this food. Okay, it gets to a size about, I'll show you what size that is. At this size, you cannot feed this food, because what ends up happening is the fish will end up eating too much of this, not every fish, but some fish, and they will get bloated and they can die. There's a really pretty black one. See? Ooh, I really like that one. I have a few black ones actually this time around. Not just in this tank. There's one in this tank, and there's a couple in the other tanks. The one we just looked at has one. Or I don't know if it's still there, but yeah, there it is. There it is. It's there. Look. So this at this size, what you're looking at, you can feed this. Okay? But when you get to this size, you need to switch to basilar. Or something larger than this. Or some type of pellet, you know? They can't eat this at that time because they eat too much. Not every single one, but some of them will, and then they will start dying on you, which really sucks, you know? Like, because that's not the size you expect fish to die at. When you're raising baby fish, they tend to die when they're smaller from various causes, lack of food, whatnot, or whatever. But when they're like, when you've grown them to a size that's about sellable size, or where it actually looks like an angelfish, and it's ready to sell, and they start dying on you, it's not good. So the reason is you can't feed this stuff at that size. So what I do is I wait till all the fish are like a little larger than this. Okay, so this is about a pea-sized fish. When it gets from a pea-sized fish to close to a dime, like a 10-cent coin in Canada or the US, you switch to the basilar. Okay, that's what I do, and it seems to work. Reduces the deaths, which is something I'm really, trying to do. Not have dead fish. You are seeing the inside of our basket. Maybe I'll turn around so you can see a better view. There we go. Okay, you see fish now behind me. Ta-da! Really nice, right? I like it. This might be a fun place to film, actually. Good morning, Sandy. So, I actually have a chair down here. I just brought it down. This was given to us by Daniel, the Goji on YouTube, but his actual name is Daniel. So, thank you, Daniel. Chair's getting put to use. So, we got 2 of these decapsulated brine shrimp. Good stuff. For all the baby angels we have, we'll go around and look at some of the other ones we have. I'm pretty happy with a lot of the angels this year. Very, very good, successful production from angelfish. We will be slowing down a little bit just in preparation for next year, summer and stuff. We'll have some fish available till about April or so, and May, June, July, August is when we're going to be breeding again for angelfish. So if you want the fish that we have also, that's the reason to get them now, because we are not going to breed a lot of these fish through January, February. I'm definitely not going to be breeding any angelfish. I know that. Maybe start breeding again in like April. You know what I mean? Or March, late March, mid March. So that's something I gotta put out there. If you're watching this right now, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll get to the rest of the unboxing. So we got 2 of these packages. Ta-da! I really like this stuff. I don't know if I said that enough. Midnight here. What's going on, Blake? What's going on, Mary? Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for being here. All my channel members, thank you so much. Fishy Mike, what's up, what's up, what's up? Shabam, what? Hello. What's going on, Joe? Oh my God, all you guys are here. Okay, so all your membership dues are like, this is being put to good use. There's another box coming. I spent about $1,200 in the last weekend buying fish stuff. So yeah, 1,200. I think this box was about $400. So we have a can of live brine shrimp eggs. This is what we use on the baby fish. We'll go look at some of those just now, and I'll show you guys my brine shrimp hatchery, because I also have a part of the nursery here right now. And it makes life easier for both of us, because then I can take care of some of them, and also they're here, so it's easier, on the fish too. What's going on, Red Laser? So we bought a whole bunch of these stuff. Ta-da! There's more in the bag. It's like same amount as much as what I have in my hands. These are 2 different things. I'll show you guys. There's so many of you watching. Thank you so much. and give this video a thumbs up. It helps out quite a bit. So we have no clog air stones. I like this one because it's no clog, and also this one does not screw out, but some of their no clogs used to be able to unscrew it and then also clean the little silts and slits on it, so that you have like always a clean, nice air stone that works, because air stones get clogged. Another trick you can use on air stones, I think, is vinegar. If you soak it in vinegar over a few days, they do kind of tend to clear up, because it's calcium deposits that clog the stone. So that does seem to work, especially if you have the air stone inside a container of vinegar with air running into it. That seems to work really well over like a week or so. That's something to keep in mind. So you have, I think I bought 10 of each. I have more in the house, I just can't find them, so just end up buying more, because they're not gonna go bad. We need them all over the house throughout the fish room. Got a bunch of these sponge filters. Since this is not a paid advertisement, I'm going to give you honest opinion. This was an accidental purchase. I forgot that Michael had told me that he does not like these sponge filters because they are too fine and they get clogged up quite easily, actually, because the mesh is very fine. On the positive side, it does polish your water quite well. So I really like the fact that it polishes my water, but at the same time, I don't like the fact that it gets clogged up too quickly, which means I have to clean it too quickly. I think we have one, maybe not. We do have one in the fish room somewhere. I just don't know where it is right now. It's in this part of the house. So I bought 10 of these. I'm not gonna open all 10, but this is what it looks like. These are my preferred filters. I really like these, especially for angelfish, for discus, for rams, for anything that can potentially be, like get pushed around if it has too much current, and the weak fish could get sucked into an intake or something, and gets connected on the side of the intake. I really like these ones because they protect the fish in that manner. You can have one right in the middle of the tank, so you see where it is. Fish can't go behind this and get stuck. Fish are not going to get like sucked into it or stuck or anything like that. I mean, it does have its downsides. I'm not saying that it's the best filter in the world, but for me personally, I really like these air-driven sponge filters are my preferred filter method. You can get quite a bit of flow out of those as well if you have a decent amount of air pushing through and you set it up in the right manner. For example, you have to have your lift tube at the bottom of the tank as deep as possible. We can look at one of those in a bit, and when I explain this properly, I guess at that point in time, and then have like a larger output tube, a longer output tube, so it comes up like this and then out that way. So if this is long, even longer than this, the longer this is, the more pressure you're going to get this way, water pressure. So they're really efficient actually, and then it's cheap to run. For example, this entire room is filtered by one pump. It's about 100 watts. So we have, I don't know, almost 30 tanks up here, down here, right? 25 to 30 tanks that are running on one pump, and we're still bleeding air because it's too much air. It's just one pump, right? I have the whole upstairs running on 2 small pumps, and I really like them. I was gonna buy a third one, and then I realized I'm bleeding so much air that I don't need a third pump. I can run all 4 rooms upstairs with one pump, so or 2 pumps, 2 small pumps. The living room is going to be most likely run by the 60 liters per hour pump that I had in the old house. So I really like these. So that's my little thing about them. And let's put this bad boy back in the box. And yeah, and the last thing that we bought are fish food, tetratropical color granules. I really like this stuff, I gotta say, for the discus especially, and also for the red angels. This stuff really pops the red in my redfish. I mean, the super reds are spectacular. They eat this when they were babies. Um, and also, if you guys are on Rumble, follow me on Rumble. It's Aqua Malik on Rumble. Just go on Rumble and search Aqua Malik. You get the same videos. I'm gonna figure out a way to live stream on both platforms, YouTube and Rumble, because I know some of you guys prefer that platform over YouTube. I don't mind YouTube. You know, YouTube has not done me dirty yet. But at the same time, it's good to have a secondary platform with all you guys, if possible, moved over there and watching that as well. That would be nice, because then if something happens, I have a backup. You know, I'm not gonna make a second YouTube channel for fish. I do, although I do want to make another YouTube/Rumble channels for something else, but that's a different topic. But yeah, we bought two of these. I really like this food. XL Tropical Color Granules. Tetra has not reached out to us. I would like to get in contact with them. I want to not to ask for any free product or anything. It'd be nice if they send me a bucket or two of food. Like, that'd be nice. But they don't pay me nothing. I paid full price, $25 plus tax for these. This is the most expensive food we have in the fish room right now. More expensive than Basileir. Basileir is half the price of this when I buy it in bulk. And Gerald Basileir lets me buy it in bulk, so I'm very happy about that. And it's also a much more higher quality food than this. The only benefit of this food, I find, is that it makes the fish seem to accept this quite readily. You can have the most finickiest fish, like an Ultima Angel, for example, that just came out of the wild. This thing's never seen fish food in its life, and they go nuts for this stuff. Like, I would not be able to get that animal to eat anything else, but it will eat this. If it's eating this. Then the next fish, like discus, the most finickiest discus I've had, discus that refuse to eat, and then you throw some of this, they're eating. And so this is something, I think it's like McDonald's, right, for fish. I know McDonald's is unhealthy for me, but I actually really like McDonald's. I haven't eaten McDonald's this whole year, and sometimes I fiend it, like, you know what I mean? I'm actually actively not eating fast food now, just because I don't trust it to not have bugs and stuff in it. Like, our government is full pro bug eating, our reptilian government, current reptilian government. But so I don't know what it is in here, but it makes the fish really want to eat it. So for discus, for color and stuff, for the babies here, for the red ones, we definitely feed that. I also feed it to my red angels and red ancestors, like I told you earlier. So do you guys want to go look at some fish? Because there's nothing else to really look at. There's 10 filter boxes in here, which I'm not going to open every single one. I mean, I will not right now. I will open it as we're setting it up upstairs. But yeah, that is the unboxing section portion of the video. Let me get some questions quick. The trick is to get enough to get them big enough to eat them. Oh my god. Honestly, that's the whole thing. I was making that joke, you know what I mean? Like, I'll definitely eat fish. I've thought about that. If there's no food, and there's something happens and there's no way of getting food and whatever, I mean, you gotta be realistic. I'm not gonna be eating bugs. God has blessed me with all these animals, I can breed goldfish, I can breed trout, I can breed any type of fish. God provides for me to breed, you know what I mean? I'm not worried about that. Fish are easy to breed. Especially food fish, that's why they breed them so easily. So yeah, there's carps in our lake. We'll catch a couple of those. Those are easy to breed. So yeah, we'll be not eating no bugs. Don't worry, guys and girls. Reptiles, we just had one die here in England. I mean, I personally like her, because as far as rulers go, I'm coming out of fish realm just for a moment, because it is a big topic. I'll just touch on that. She has done a really good job at her station. She was a good servant to the crown and to her people. She was a good queen. That's their job, is to serve us as our head of state. You know what I mean? And she served in the military during World War II. She was a mechanic in the Royal Military. So is her grandchildren. They both served in the Iraq War and Afghan War. So I really like her personally. Do I like Charles? Hell no. The guy's a reptile too. But like the queen was a nice person, as far as I can tell. You know what I mean? I've never met her, but like from what I've seen, her actions throughout the 70 years she ruled, she could have been a nasty ass human being. You know what I mean? She had the ability to be nasty and chose not to be nasty. So I respect her for that. But yeah, reptiles. You know what I mean? Definite reptiles. Crying, cooking Zeb. Well, no, this is the thing. Like, if it goes in that direction, we will not be able to keep Zeb. Zeb's in captivity will go extinct because, like, you know, like, what could happen, right? Like, all kinds of things that, like, you know, if there's no electricity, you can't keep any of these fish. You know what I mean? They'll be in the trash the next morning because electricity goes out, all this shit shuts off, and that's the end of that, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, there's levels, you know, like, so. Not the Zebs. Mike Jones. Let's see some plecos. Oh, there are plecos down here actually. We can actually go look at those too. But let's look at fish. We're just trying to get to some questions. Crack food for fish. They go nuts for the stuff. Okay, I can't feed the fish. Okay, look, I'll show you. It says no food. No food in big letters. It says here, says do not feed fish. Okay? Because I am not allowed to feed anybody till Thursday. So they're being fasted and dewormed. But there's no worms in this thing, for example. Like, we checked all the fish are healthy and stuff, like, you know, whatever. And, but yeah, so there are plecos here. I'll show you guys the plecos in a bit. Some rams, more rams. We already saw these guys. Some baby rams, some discus. Now, there's plecos in here. Let's see what kind of plecos we have in here. How's everybody doing, man? How's your Wednesday going? What do I think of the L333s? They're nice fish. I really like them. They're very nice fish. Okay, it's hard to get them on film. They're on the plate. There's like, how many are there? 24 L199 plecos. Yeah, just moved them from upstairs. Solar backups are not looking bad, but again, you know, you need to have those ready to go. And are you going to use that on keeping Zabs? Or, you know what I mean, in crisis situation, you got to think of what's most important, right? But the tanks definitely will be useful because you can keep cold water fish in them. You know, easy to keep. Do I ship? Yes. Across Canada right now, 100% shipping available for the next month or so. Are they hard to breed? No, they're very easy fish. Every pleco is quite easy. With red worms, you stop feeding them. Is that the only way you cure? No. So Peter has a very good question. Okay, so there's various types of worms that your fish can get. One of the common ones that people come across is called Calamanus. Literally, it's a pain in your ass worm. Okay, like seriously, I hate them. And if I see any sign of that, I definitely treat all my tanks. Everybody. Like, it's a really cheap and easy treatment. You can get it online or like at an animal feed store if you're in the US or Canada. The product we personally like to use is levamisole. It's also, you know, pronounced levamisole, levamisole, and levamisole. It's the same thing. It's spelled exactly the same way, but different people call it different things. I personally call it levamisole, okay, or levamisole. and it's really it's very effective. And you might find it under levamisol or levamisol HCl, which is hydrochloride. Okay. What's going on, Kenneth? Mr. Jones, NM, what's up? What's up? How to order and see your stock? Contact Fish Easy. He's the one dealing with a lot of the email stuff. I mean, we do have an email address. I can't remember what it is myself right now because we just got it. I think it's Malik, Aquamalik at aquarium.biz for myself, but the stock list is with Michael, and also we have an Instagram page which has all of our fish for sale listed on it, whatever pictures and whatnot. And the Instagram page is aquarium.biz. So on Instagram, you just search aquarium.biz, B-I-Z, and you find it. And the website's going to be aquarium.biz too, I think. It's already being set up. I'm not the one doing it, so I can't tell you what's going on beyond that. And too many people, not enough fish. No, it's a lot of fish. I'm very happy. God is good, man. God is good. You know what I mean? Like I really think that you know, just gotta be grateful to what you have and know that it's all temporary. Everything. You know what I mean? Like none of this is permanent. Nothing's forever. So if things change, you just have to be willing to change with what happens, you know. But coming back to what we were saying, if I do see worms, I use levamisol, HCl. Michael is the one who came up with the dosage. He knows the dosage. It's 132 teaspoons of the powder. 130, I guess, 1 out of 23 size spoon. Okay, so 1/32, I guess. I don't know how, I've forgotten how to actually pronounce that properly, so I'm not gonna do it wrong, but 1 divided by 32, so a teaspoon divided by 32 parts into 32 parts, equal parts, and you take one of those parts for every 10 gallons. That's the measurement. And what we used, actually the spoon is not here anymore because Michael took it home, so I can't show you the spoon. And you can't overdose this stuff. Thank you, Mary. I love you too, man. You guys are all awesome, and Mary, you're extra awesome. Thank you for being a member for 8 months. Oh my God, that's awesome. But yeah, so the stuff is called levamisol HCl. You can find the dosage online, and also if you really need to know the dosage, watch Fish Easy's channel because he'll explain this to you much better because he knows the dosage and he knows better how to explain that. So it's on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/c/fish-e-z. That's it. It's very easy. Fish Easy. Fish keeping made easy. So yeah, we use that stuff, and once you put it in, so you gotta do a water change before you do this. Make sure there's no poop on the bottom, so you gotta be able to see. And then the worms will fall out overnight, and the next day you gotta siphon out the worms, which is why it says no feeding, because yesterday I forgot and I threw food in the afternoon when I came down here. And so good thing the fish hadn't eaten it. So Michael ended up cleaning that up, and then he wrote do not feed, so I remember when I'm down here not to feed them. But anyways, you don't feed them for 3 days, and you check for residual sign of worms, and unfortunately some of the fish that had it are the actual fish that we were trying to keep, and so there are residual signs. These guys are clearing out, so you don't actually see any worms hanging off of them. It's not the discus actually, unfortunately it's the rams that got it, these guys. And it was the tank of fish that we were keeping for ourselves, not the fish that we were selling. Imagine that, right? The fish that we were selling those tanks did not have worms. The tank of fish we were keeping, which I did actually sell to a few friends, so I messaged every single one of them and told them to deworm their tanks. Good thing it's a really cheap treatment. So treating this whole house costed us. So these guys don't even have it anymore, but you can see some signs on them. So these are our own ramps. You see, like under, that's like an egg spot, but it's extra swollen because she had worms. So they had early signs. These guys, they were not heavily infected. I caught it in time, you know. So how it happened was, one of you guys, actually, a subscriber, came and bought 6 of these fish. He actually ended up buying 30 fish. He bought 30 rams, and he asked me, "Can you give me 6 fish, or you know whatever you can out of your breeder tank, you know the tank that you have for yourself, or Michael's breeder tank, I guess." I said, "Okay, you know what I mean. I can hook you up, you know what I mean, because you're buying so many other fish. He bought plecos, he bought rams, you know whatever." So, and he drove all the way here to pick them up. So I said, "Yeah, sure, I can give you a couple extra, you know, like fish that we were, because we had a lot, right? We have a lot." So ended up giving him the fish, and then he noticed it on one of the females, I guess, or males, and he called me, and he told me the next day or 2 days later, and he said, "I'm treating my fish today," and so that was like last week, and so I told Michael, and then we got the medication. To treat the whole house, we need quite a bit. And we did secondary treatment. Whilst we were doing that treatment, we did also praziquantel, which treats tapeworms, flukes, internal worms, parasites of the skin, like skin flukes, gill flukes, and any other pathogen, general pathogen that lives in the aquarium that could be harmful to your fish, aside from bacteria or viruses. So those are the only 2 things that the praziquantel doesn't affect. So all the tanks here now have praziquantel in it. Every single fish has been treated with it, although they don't have gill flukes or skin flukes. Figured it's a good measure to go through the entire fish room and treat every single tank. And we're also treating all the tanks at Michael's house the same way. And here on out, back to strict quarantine, obviously. But what I want to do is set up a completely separate quarantine tank, not just one tank, but an entire quarantine setup, completely far away from all the other tanks, not even in the same room, you know, in a room outside of all the other rooms, and then have quarantine fish going into that room, staying there for a period of time, monitor, health check, everything that needs to happen to ensure that that animal is 100% clean, free of pathogens and diseases, and then if they get a passport to enter our fish room, you know what I mean? Until that, they're on quarantine. I mean, this is how I would like to do things moving forward. I think Michael agrees with that. We haven't talked to him about the entire rack idea, but like at least have 4 or 5 tanks, decent sized, so we can decent sized tanks, so we can set them up at any given time, have fish in them for extended period of time, medicate them, deworm them, whatever needs to happen for the fish happens before they get a passport to go into our general population. And at that point, they might still be under observation in a tank with not so expensive fish. We're not gonna put them with our breeder, discus or super plecos or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on, and that's a good way to prevent these diseases, and that's why we usually don't have these types of issues. And I will also show you where I believe that came from is this guy, because this sponge filter unfortunately was running at Bob Wilson's house when we got the tanks. So some of these tanks came with sponge filter. This is one of them. That's one of them. Although this tank does not have the disease, this tank was the only tank that had it. And then it went, because I moved fish from here to here, here, and there a few days ago. We had it in those tanks, but it was not affecting these guys. It had not affected these other angelfish. You know what I mean? So my theory is that the sponge filter had it, And because we had the rams in here the longest, with that sponge filter being there, because when we first, these were some of the first fish that came to the facility, the rams. They were already like growing out at Michael's place when we set up these tanks, and the discus in the back room. So we had to set up some of the filters that were already in the tank, you know, because they were running already, and they didn't have any fish in the tanks where they lived, where the tanks were before at Bob's house. Bob had sold all of his fish. It was just the tanks, and he had just some, like, you know, platies and whatever, just in one in each tank, just kind of keeping the cycle going. And so I mean, I didn't think about it. We just set up the tank with the sponge filter, and that's how we ended up getting it in those tanks. But moving around, got a whole bunch of angelfish. I know a bunch of you guys are coming to pick these up. We are gonna be going down south towards Kitchener-Waterloo area in the coming week. I think on the 8th is the plan. It could be on the 15th. But send me a message and let me know if you want me to bring any fish down for you down that way, and make the payment before we leave, and I can bring the fish for you. And give this video a thumbs up. Okay, let's look at something cool. Hey Alexa, Amazon River lights on. Ooh, look at that. Okay, the battery's super low, so I'm gonna... Mike Jones. Yeah, buddy. I don't know if I'm gonna save you, but God will definitely save every single one of us. You know what I'm saying? So let's try to get a better view of these guys. They're really pretty. Okay, I'm at 5% battery. So just letting you guys know, when it cuts off, it's done. Okay? I'll just go till the battery's dead. So these fish, some of these fish are going to Jimmy in also close to Kitchener, I think, like close to the American border. Actually, he lives right by the border. He lives in a border town. So these are going to Jimmy. They were supposed to ship out this morning. I actually had the day off today, so I could have gone and dropped it off. But then me and Michael decided yesterday that we are not going to send. Well, Michael was already adamant about it, so I agreed with him and I said, okay. Although they were not sick, they didn't have any worms, we are not shipping them out until next week. So we're going to hold on to them for another few days, do another treatment of deworming, same medication. We're not going to do any more prassiquantel because they don't have any of those diseases. They don't have gill flukes or tapeworms or flatworms or, you know, whatever other things that prassiquantel removes. But we are going to keep them till Sunday, and if Jimmy still wants them on Sunday, we'll ship them out Sunday night, Monday morning. Just because we want to make sure that they are 100% healthy before they leave our facility. Although the fish look completely fine, the average person wouldn't even know. And that's the thing about Calaminus worms I want to really quickly add, is that if you do get that pathogen, usually by the time you notice it, it is way too late to treat it. Like, I mean, you still have to treat it, but you might be able to save the animal's life at sometimes if it's like, you know, like the worm eats out the cavity, eats out a cavity, and creates, like, you know, eats the flesh and the, you know, the reproductive organs, eventually the digestive organs, the bottom of the digestive tract, the entire ventral area gets eaten out by these worms eventually. And so that's when they start sticking their heads out through the ass of the fish, which is essentially a hole at that point where the worms live in. And by that point, even if you medicate and remove the worms, the animal might live. Sometimes it might still die, just because it's too far gone. And secondarily, it will probably not reproduce because a lot of the reproductive organs could be damaged by that point. And it will also have like a depression in that area, which you can clearly visibly see. So that these are things to consider. If you do get these, it does affect your breeding. This is why early detection is very important. And early treatment is very important, because that way you can actually save the animals before that worm gets to do a lot of damage, or any damage. And so that's key to this whole ordeal. Um, what kind of fish can get it? Every fish can get counterminus worms, but cichlids, which angelfish, rams, and discus um, all fall under, are highly susceptible. Guppies are highly susceptible. Blue rams and German rams and electric and black rams seem to be way more susceptible than even discus. But discus, angelfish, all those animals can get it, and the animal will be healthy for a good long while before you notice. Like, it might be months, depending on how healthy the animal is, before it's too late. So you might not notice it. So it's a really good idea to pay attention to key things. Um, if you notice animals' ventral area is protruding out, and like red piece of red thing is sticking out always, not poop. It's a little red, spike almost. Sometimes it looks like a part of the fin, like, because the ventral area is right in front of the fin, and it looks like one of the fin rays. So it's really difficult to detect, and you have to really pay attention to your fish to notice this type of stuff. So it's also generally a good idea to deworm your fish when you get them brand new, or monitor them for like a few months in isolated tank to see if they have the disease, and if they do, then they will die, and then you can discard that fish, or you can treat it if you notice it before it's too late, before you introduce it into your general population. So moral of the story: quarantine your fish, keep isolating your fish as much as possible. So like, one thing I like to do is, down here, this is one area of the fish room, and then the living room is another, part of our fish room, and the upstairs is a different part. All three sections have its own nets, and stuff like that. And this part and the living room mostly are baby fish. There's no adult fish in there, so those are fish that were born here, or at Michael's house. And usually those fish all, are pretty much pathogen free, and they tend to be that way because we don't really bring any fish from outside into these two sections of the fish room, and the upstairs is my breeding area, and I don't really bring anything up there either brand new. Nothing goes in there, so we don't have a place to put new fish into, and that's why you haven't seen new fish. Haven't figured out a quarantine setup yet. So yeah, that's what's going on, and that's why I haven't bought new fish. And also, I don't have a lot of money. Once I pay for everything, I'm back to zero, and then gotta work again to pay for everything. And some people have asked me, is the fish making back the profit? Because the overhead is so high, we haven't started breaking even yet. But I think that's gonna happen soon. I'm pretty hopeful for that. So, God willing, not too long from now, we will be breaking even. But right now, we're still running at a loss. Just to be completely transparent about that. Anyways, that's what I have. I'm gonna sign off because my iPad is pretty much dead. Yeah, you never see them again. Like, once you treat, I recommend, if your fish have the worms, to do 2 treatments, or as a preventative to do 1 treatment. That's my recommendation. And to me personally, it works better than fenbendazole. Where like fenbendazole mostly stuns the worms and drops them, and then they can crawl back in. Yeah, see, it's actually true. Sometimes you have to do 2 to 3 treatments. I personally like for grow out fish, I would overdose it, because you can put up to 10 times the recommended dosage. So I would put 3 to 4 times the recommended dosage at once, which really kills the worms. But it's also tough on the fish. But doing 3 treatments is probably a better strategy over I think 6 days to 9 days or something like that. Michael has the entire schedule, so I'm just doing what he tells me to do on that, because he has the whole thing down to science. Stephen needs a good deworming. But coming to a funny story about that, the other day when I was cleaning the tanks, I actually accidentally swallowed a huge gulp of fish it from that exact tank that had the worms. So now I'm concerned if I have the worms, and also how I'm going to explain this to a normal doctor. You know what I mean, about how I ingested potential worms, and why I would need deworming medication potentially. So I'm very concerned about this. This is like I was telling my friend who's a casting director. I was actually talking to him yesterday. He's a very funny guy actually. He's like, you know, really chill. And so we're like talking smack, and then he's just like, you know, he was like saying something, and I said, buddy, like you have no idea like what I'm dealing with. And I explained to him about the worm situation, and he was laughing the whole time. You know what I mean? And then I told him about the doctor thing, and he was like, yeah, I would not be surprised if for you to say that to me. And I was like, yep, you know, yeah, you guys are laughing. I got worms. Potentially. Thanks, Mike. I'll see you soon, okay? Uh-oh. Yeah, I know. You know, like now you gotta use like terms like allegedly or potentially, because otherwise, you know, people might get offended, right? But no, really though, like I might have worms, because I drank that water, like, you know. Yeah, not even like a week ago. Like I was just like, I had the tube in there, and I had the end of the other side, and it was like the big toe hose, and I like usually the one that Bob Wilson had designed is really good. That one's great. Like you don't even need to like put a lot of pressure. That, like, you know, very small amount of suction, and it just gets started and it goes so well. With the big hose, you need to put a lot more suction because it's a thicker hose, I guess, and needs more pressure to get the water over. And therefore, you know, you have to, you know, yeah. H. pylori. Okay, no, don't tell me. I'm going to the doctor. Okay. They're all goldfish. Fantails and blackmores are all goldfish, and yes, if you have a big enough tank, yes. If you have a 30-gallon, which is 150 liters or 120 liters, you're good. What's going on, Jack? I'm signing off because my iPad's gonna die. Human deworming is available at shops. Good to know, Sandy. So I only have to explain this to the lady at Shoppers Drug Mart and not to my doctor, which is even more embarrassing because I go to the Shoppers Drug Mart every week. You know, a couple of times a week, some weeks, just to buy essentials and stuff. Like, you know, like I buy my Coca-Cola at Shoppers Drug Mart, like in big boxes. So, you know, like now I had to explain to her why I have worms. Okay, yeah, much better than having to explain this to my doctor. Great, thank you for putting, yeah, thank you for that. All right, I'm signing up, okay? Ivermectin, yes, that's the stuff. Okay. I would hope so. I mean, I eat a lot of spicy food, so I would hope so. But you never know. Them worms be bastards. Like how did they get into my fish? Don't the fish have stomach acids? Like that's the thing. Like I'm always thinking about it. Like if you feed worms to your fish and they eat it, does the worms go through the stomach without any issue? Like, and if that happens in the fish, can it happen in me? Like, you know, I don't know. It's scary. Like, you know, it's something to think about, something to ponder. And before we sign off, I'm going to show you guys something really cool. I really like these fish here. Let me get the light over so you can actually see them. Hopefully the iPad doesn't shut off before. But yeah, there they are. Okay. These are my platinum pandas. I really like them. Every single one in here is a pearl scale. They're all so perfect and so beautiful. And there's a bunch of them available for sale also, but I'm really happy with how these turned out. They were bred by accident. I had a platinum male, which was not pearl scale like this, and a marble female, which is a black and yellow fish, also not pearl scale. Both fish were not long fin. They were both short fin fish. And the platinum male bred with the marble female 2 times. And this is out of the first batch. These are the ones I picked out for myself and for my cousin. So I only picked out the pearl scale ones. And these are basically all the pearl scales that we produced out of that one spawn. And every single one is long fin. Every single one is perfect. They have all their bits. And praise God, you know, I'm very happy. Some of these are veil tail actually. Like, look how long some of the fins are. Skitty Nona. My pleasure. Would I ever breed blue angels? We have some pairs upstairs. We have blue belugas. It's a new strain. It's a Bulgarian seal pointer crossed to a I forgot what the blue blusher, I believe. And so like it's a light powder blue fish with blue top fin high spike going up and a blue bottom fin spike going down. I have 2 pairs. They have some blue speckling on them. It's quite beautiful fish. And I believe the babies are coming out as albinos too. So I'm excited to see what they're coming out as. We have 1 clutch right now successful at Michael's house. They are smaller than the regular angel babies, so they require smaller food. So Michael's keeping them there and feeding them at his house for the first 2 weeks and getting them going, and then they'll be ending up here. Next time when I'm live streaming, remind me and I'll show you the parent fish. They're quite beautiful. They're a new strain. Nobody else has them. I have 2 pairs. They were developed by a scientist here in Canada, a geneticist who is studying genetics, and he's using angelfish breeding to produce, to teach his kids, his university students, about how genetics work. So quite interesting stuff. I also want to meet him. I haven't met him yet. I bought it through a friend who owns a pet store. Fanatics Aquarium, actually, huge shout out. That's where I got them. They're really pretty, and I'm really excited for them. So next time I'll show you what they look like, hopefully. And thank you so much for watching. I love you all. God bless you. I will see you on the next video. Really? Okay, now you're scaring me. Send me that info. Although it's kind of scary, I would want to know instead of being scared. Thank you so much. I love you all. God bless you. Hope you have a great day and a great rest of the week. I'll see you soon, okay? My pleasure. Have a good day. Love you guys. And these are the Platinum Panda non-pearl scales. I mean, there's some pearl scales in here too. I just haven't caught every single one of them, but look how nice they are. Platinum Pandas. They're really pretty. Really, 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 really pretty. I really like these. And I'm pretty confident that they will breed too, because their traits were perfectly mixed in, and they all have long fins, so I'm very confident. Thank you so much. Have a good day, Sandy. I love you guys. All right. Bye.